What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. So NBA free agency, of course, has been somewhat slow. We did get DeRozan to the Sacramento Kings over the weekend. We did a video on that, but one signing we never talked about was Chris Paul signing with the San Antonio Spurs. And when it initially happened, I got quite a few requests about potentially doing a Chris Paul Spurs rebuild, so here I am finally doing it. A little late, but I'm here doing it anyway. They just got Harrison Barnes in the sign and trade as well with the DeMar DeRozan thing. So let's go ahead and jump in, talk about the Spurs, and do this Chris Paul San Antonio Spurs rebuild. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like in this one and subscribe if you're new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. Also, quick update at the very top. As you guys know, I've been using my own share scenario, and you can still download it using the gamer tag Boomeo. But today, I think we're going to switch it up. I'm going to switch to Joe Kelmer's share scenario. Mine has a couple problems with it, which is why I'm switching to Joe Kelmer. So if you want to download it, he obviously, creates the draft classes that I use. If you want to download it, it is Joda Patch NBA 2K25. It's apparently available on PS5 and Xbox Series. I was able to find it on Xbox, so hopefully you PS5 guys, if you want to find a share scenario, this would be the one to look up. So that is what we're going to use today. Also, one cool thing about his that I will say that I definitely don't have is he has JJ Redick on the Lakers, so that's pretty cool. So I don't know how he does it, but he imported JJ Redick to the Lakers, so that's kind of cool. So yeah, he's on there. It's obviously not exactly JJ Redick, but it's like a created character of him. So yeah, not too shabby. So that's why his is just a little bit more detailed than mine. And like I said, mine had a few problems, but that was just something I wanted to say up top. But now let's talk about the ethics of this video, which is Chris Paul and the San Antonio Spurs. Now, in real life, Chris Paul may only be on the Spurs for one season and then he dips or whatever and goes to maybe a contender. I don't know. But I think in today's video, to save the more realistic, what's going to happen to Chris Paul for the new look series when we finally get to it. I'm not sure I'm going to start it. I keep saying this in every video, but we will start it eventually. I'm just still waiting to see if more things happen, but things are really slow right now. But we're going to try to win a championship with Chris Paul on the Spurs, paired with Wemby, of course. Now, what we've been doing lately in these videos, of course, with these older players, we did it with Kawhi yesterday, we did it with Paul George, is we're making sure they don't, regress too much. So I'm going to push Chris Paul up to a 41 peak end age for this video. That way he stays as good as possible. Obviously, he's not the second best player, so we may still need to find like a third star. Of course, that definitely is something we will still consider. But if we look at our roster currently right now as constructed, you have Chris Paul. They drafted Stephon Castle this offseason, as we know. They still have Trey Jones at the very moment. Devin Vassell, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley. Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson's here. You got Jeremy Sohan, and you got Wemby, and Zach Collins. Now, the Spurs could still do some stuff in free agency, but I think I'm fine with where we're at. I think I'm just going to go ahead and just go in with the roster that we currently have. So I'm going to go ahead and renounce these guys as well. I'm not bringing back Sandro or Seti. And now we can go straight to player progression and see what we're looking at. So we got Wemby up to an 87, which is fantastic. Vassell up to an 82. Chris Paul at 39 still regresses. No big deal. Kind of to be expected, of course. Jeremy Sohan is down to 78. Keldon Johnson is down, and Malachi Branham is up. Harrison Barnes and Zach Collins are down as well. So a lot of regression on this team, but we do have some vets, of course. Now, we're going to be going to this next season, and we're going to figure out how exactly we're going to do this rotation. I'm not 100% sure how we're going to do it, but I think the main thing we want to do is make sure that Chris Paul is mentoring Stephon Castle. Of course, we can actually do that in 2K, but that is like the perfect, mentor to have to Stephon Castle in year number 1, when Stephon Castle has made it known he really wants to play point guard. We do have to cut one player, though, really quickly, so let's see who that will be. So, who do we cut? So Harrison Ingram is someone they just drafted. The rest of these guys are two-way contracts. The last time I cut Sidy Cissoko, I got absolutely cooked in the comment section about it. So who do I actually cut? I have no clue. You have Julian Champagny. You have Charles, I guess I could cut. Or I guess what we could do technically is maybe trade Trey Jones away. Like, I don't know. Like, that might be what we have to do. I don't want to piss someone off with the Sidy Cissoko cutting him thing again. People got really mad about that. So I'm going to guess trade Trey Jones away. We probably don't need him anyway since we have Chris Paul and Stephon Castle as our point guards at the moment. Maybe we eventually play Stephon Castle the 2. I don't know yet. But I guess to avoid pissing people off about Sidy Cissoko again, I'll trade away Trey Jones and try to get a couple seconds for him or something. I don't know. But we may not be able to solve that problem. If I can't get just picks back, we might just have to cut Sidy and call it a day. I could just cut Harrison Ingram as well and he doesn't make the roster or whatever. I guess let's do that. I'll just cut Harrison Ingram, even though they literally just drafted him. So whatever. So we got to cut somebody. It'll be Harrison Ingram. That shouldn't have been as hard as it was, but just trying to make people happy, I guess. All right, let's go to next season. So let's take a look at what we're about to look like. So we have Chris Paul Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Trey Jones, Malachi Branham, and then Harrison Barnes and Zach Collins. That looks like a fine rotation to me. Honestly, we're pretty deep in this rotation as well. There's a few players down here that could play for us. We're probably going to send Juan Nunes to the G League and then send, like, I guess we could send City, who we were just talking about quite a bit there as well. So we'll send Juan Nunes and City to the G League. Maybe they can be something for us later on. And then Chris Paul, we'll see what he ends up doing this season as far as if he'll retire or not. And then Stephon Castle. So one thing I have not used in quite some time, and I need to see if I can even find it because I don't... Oh, there it is. Player mentorship. So this is the Mint T, right? So we need to put this to be Stephon Castle, if I'm not mistaken. Please, feel free to cook me in the comment section if I'm doing this wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing this right. And we need to find Chris Paul. So I guess we want maybe Pro Touch, Slithery. Is there a Open Looks? Maybe? No, Dimer. We want Dimer. And then maybe Handles for Days, like for our point guard. So we'll do that. So set Chris Paul to mentor Stephon Castle. That looks perfect to me. All right, let's go ahead. Simulate this season. We can be a 4-star balance, so we'll go ahead and do just that. We'll see how this team does with Chris Paul and the Spurs. Stephon Castle come off the bench, at least for now. But I guess maybe we also stop at the deadline because the Spurs have been interested in guys like Lauri Markkanen. We'll just kind of fill it out and see how we're doing once we reach the deadline. Today's video is brought to you by 2 softwares that are designed to make you a much profitable sports bettor. If you love betting on sports on DFS apps or sports books, I have the 2 softwares that you can definitely use to help you beat the sports books over the long term. And we're starting out with the DGF optimizer that primarily focuses on the DFS apps such as PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play Better, all kinds of options here on the DGF optimizer. How it works is it compares discrepancies across sports books. So basically, you're comparing lines back to sports books lines. So like Pinnacle, one, kind of known as one of the more sharper books in the entire world. You got Rafael Martian over a base tomorrow, and Pinnacle has that at -137, and you still have a bunch of book support here at -130 odds across the, average of -135 odds across the table. If you plug this in on a PrizePicks 5 flex or 6 flex, you're getting it at -119 odds. So you're getting a clear value play here if you play Rafael Marchand on PrizePicks, which is why finding, good plays like this isn't easy. You don't have to go research a bunch of facts about who's starting or whatever. It's right in front of you. You just look at what the sportsbooks are telling you. They take all that data into account already. And this is where you find good plays, which is why I love the DGF optimizer for these DFS apps, such as PrizePicks Better and all those other options. So make sure to check out DGF. Use code Crushables, 25% off your first month. And if you are actually more on the traditional sportsbooks, such as, FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics Sportsbooks, what you name it. There's so many different sportsbooks on here. It's actually insane. But this is the positive EV tool over at OddsJam. And like I said, this is actually looking more into the traditional sports books such as FanDuel and all that. So basically, it kind of does the same thing. It compares discrepancies. I don't know if we'll find a good example on the board at the moment. I guess we have a couple soccer plays. So if you take a look at this, it's just like car shopping, basically. If you're going to go buy the car, you're going to go buy it at the cheapest place possible. And right now, if you're looking at this specific player prop on Fabian Ruiz over 1.5 shots, FanDuel is clearly offering you the best price possible, so it would make no sense to go bet this on DraftKings. We can get this at -105 over on FanDuel. So basically, that's how this works, man. That's how it works. If you want to check out either tool, links are down in the description below. Use code Crushables on both websites. They give you a percentage off. So make sure to check them out if you want to be better at, betting on sports. Other than that, let's get back to the rebuild. So we are at the trade deadline, and I told you guys I wanted to make a push to try to win a championship with Chris Paul. We're the 3rd seed in the West currently in this share scenario, so we got to take advantage, man. And I think there's a clear guy we need to go after. There's a bunch of real-life rumors about it anyway, and I think him and Wemby would be kind of an insane, nice little, front court. So you might know where I'm going with this. Like I said, it's already been talked about. I've gotten him a few videos, but this is a real-life rumor right now. And, Eric and I were talking, and he brought this up on the podcast and said that, the fact that the Spurs got Harrison Barnes back in return in that trade, Harrison Barnes' salary perfectly matches Lauri Markkanen. Like, literally, their salaries match perfectly. So if the Jazz were to eventually move Markkanen, then this would be the way to do it. Potentially the trade deadline, we end up, trading for him and then extending him. And this gives Chris Paul a good chance to, maybe go win a championship this year. I don't know if we'll be able to, but we do have a, massive depoy guy down low, and then adding Lauri Markkanen next to him definitely sounds terrifying. And they suck. They're 17-34. I think Danny Ainge would seriously have to consider all offers on the table. Now, it's going to be expensive because Lauri Markkanen, as we've seen, is in high demand right now. A lot of teams are looking at him. So The Spurs have the assets to pull it off. So do the teams like the Thunder, of course, as well. But let's see if we can make something happen for Lauri Markkanen and pair him next to Wemby and Chris Paul. So we will start with, we could do Keldon Johnson as well. Like I definitely wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's what they'd want instead. But maybe they just want Barnes' contract. I don't know. So you could do Barnes, you could do Keldon. But since it has to be a really good offer, we'll start with Keldon Johnson, who probably has more value than Harrison Barnes, of course. So Keldon Johnson will also match the salary pretty perfectly. So this Hornets pick is technically protected in real life, although it says unprotected here. This Bulls pick is top 10 protected. We have a Hawks pick as well. We have our own. So let's start with our own 2025 first. Again, we have to send valuable picks. We'll send a Chicago pick, which I guess they're good, so that pick sucks. We'll send maybe this Hawks pick. And then let's see if we have like young players we can offer them that they may be interested in. So, of course, we're not going to offer Stephon Castle. We can offer like Malachi Branham or Blake Wesley maybe. So let's offer one of them. And then could they give me like, I don't know, do they have anybody that could throw me? Like, I guess we can get Kenneth Lofton, who has more value. So far all these picks suck. But I think that might just be the share scenario. I think I've experienced this in the past where this scenario, I don't know why, but in Joe Tacoma share scenarios, like the draft picks aren't very valuable. It must be something he tweaks in the settings. But regardless, so that's 3 first-round picks, Keldon Johnson and Blake Wesley. That's 2 picks in this 2025 draft class, and then a 2026 pick. So I don't know. Do we offer, like I said, that Hornets pick is actually protected, so that probably wouldn't be a good pick to offer them. Maybe we offer them that Hawks pick. Maybe the Jazz could have some leverage over the Atlanta Hawks. They'll have 2 picks controlled of the Hawks. The Hawks are maybe kind of a weird thing waiting to implode anyway, so maybe they'd be interested in that. So all this for Markkanen, like I said, he'd probably be in high demand. We're going to go ahead and send this over, and we get Lauri Markkanen on the San Antonio Spurs. So welcome to the Spurs, Lauri Markkanen. Again, I sent that much because the market price is going to be high, man. Danny Ainge is going to get a good return. Don't be surprised if Markkanen gets traded for what, Mikal Bridges just got traded for. Don't be shocked. I would not be surprised at all. So, Lauri Markkanen, brand new power forward. I understand they move Sohan to the bench right now. I think what we could do is we could play Sohan at the 3 instead of Barnes there. I guess, for Sohan being like the defender of, defending wings, I guess we could put him there. So we'll go with that. So we'll go Chris Paul, Devin Vassell. They still want to start Barnes though, which is interesting. So I guess we'll just, listen to 2K for now, but eventually that'll probably change. But all right, I feel pretty good. We got a good player at the deadline, which is Lauri Markkanen, to try to, make things happen with Chris Paul this season. He might try to retire this season, so it may not have a, huge window with him. So let's see how the rest of the year goes after we've added Markkanen to the team to, give Wemby another player he can rely on to score the ball. And those two obviously would be hella fun to watch together, I think. So at the end of year 1, Shea wins MVP. Alex Sarge Rookie of the Year on the Wizards. Drummond's your 6th man on the 76ers. Wemby Defensive Player. Keontae George Most Improved. And Anthony Edwards is your Clutch Player. Michael Malone's your Coach of the Year. And John Murphy is your Executive. So here's your All-NBA first team. Giannis, LeBron, Jokic, Shea, and Luka. All-NBA second team, Trey, Halliburton, Wemby, John Morant, and Embiid. So Wemby making All-NBA second team is really cool. And of course, he's probably on, the Dolphins first team, which is not surprising. Okay. So we ended up as the 4th seed in the Western Conference, which is really good in Wemby's second year here. So Markkanen averages 18 as he comes over, 16 from Vassell, 13 from Sohan, 11 from Barnes. He had 10 from Malachi Branham and 10 from Stephon Castle with 4 assists. And Chris Paul, 7 and 8. So that's kind of what you want out of Chris Paul at this point in his career. So I can't really be too mad about that. Now, we do get to play DeRozan in the Sacramento Kings, so that's pretty exciting. So I'm kind of curious to see how we do against them. We'll see what happens. So, someone in current round against the Sacramento Kings after they just got DeRozan, and we are going to be up 3-2, and we're going to a game 7. Now, I believe I didn't make this an diamond rotation, which I absolutely should in the playoffs, so let's do that right now. Should have done this a long time ago. All right, so that moves Sohan in the starting 5, and yeah, so that looks good to me. All right, so here we go, game 7 against Sacktown. We, are going to be in San Antonio for this one, so at least we have home court advantage for game 7. We blow them out in the first quarter. But maybe they get back in the game. But no, it looks like we're on round 2. So, in Wemby's second year, after ESPN was talking about how much pressure the Spurs have on them, and someone almost had a triple-double, which is nice. But we get to the second round. So, that's progress. That's really good progress. And now we get the Denver Nuggets. So, Denver has Murray, Brown, Porter, Gordon, Jokic, Saric, Peyton Watson, Julian Strawther, and Zeke Naji. Well, let's see how we match up against the former champions. Someone in current round against them, and we are down 3-0. So it doesn't look like we are ready, and we get beat in 5 games. So Denver ends up beating us, and you're going to have the Thunder and the Sixers in the finals, and the Sixers go on to win it all. Embiid is your finals MVP. You know, like I said, we made progress. We got to round 2. So Chris Paul is trying to retire. So thankfully, I can, override the decision one time. So we have one more year with him. So I'm going to try to run it back with him one more year here, which should be a lot of fun. All right, let's go to the draft lottery. Hopefully, he's not going to ask for too much money. I'm not sure if it's going to say we have bird rights, but here are some of the guys that are retiring. So I want to make sure that Popovich wasn't retiring. I'm pretty sure he's still here. Yeah, so Popovich is still locked up, which is great. The draft lottery time. We did send some picks away, but we are projected Charlotte's pick. Like I said, that pick is actually going to, and then Atlanta's pick. Is there a pick in here? Because I sent that to the Jazz. It looks like Atlanta ended up being good. And then, of course, Charlotte's pick ends up being number 1. But like I said, that pick is actually protected in real life. So I actually have to send this back to the Hornets. But, man, can you imagine if I could add Cooper Flag to this equation? That'd be insane, but I can't. Let me double check that. But I'm like 99% sure that the Hornets pick is protected in 2025. I shouldn't even have to fact check it. But just in case, since I can technically get Cooper Flag right now, we also have the 23rd pick in this draft, which is nice. But, yeah, I guess I'll double check. If not... we'll, maybe we can look into a trade before draft night, but I'll probably more than likely just draft with pick 23. I don't think we get number 1, unfortunately. Yeah, we don't get the number 1 overall pick, and the worst part about it all, it turns into a second round pick now, so we get a 2026 second. So yeah, that really sucks. We kind of could have had Cooper Flag, but like I said, if we're following the real life rules, that pick absolutely goes to the Hornets. So we have the 23rd pick via the Hawks from the Murray trade, though. So we'll see if we can make the best of that. We do have a few good picks here as well. But like I said, our roster was full last year, so I have no idea how much we'll be able to add to this team. But let's go take a look at what we can get. So we got Jason Richardson, Aaron Bradshaw, Alex Karaman, Damian Sarr. I think I will take Damian Sarr here. So I'm going to take Damian Sarr, pick 23 out of Italy. And I'll let my assistant GM take care of the second round. So we're going to get Taj, and then probably, can I two-way the other guys? I can't, but we just are going to have a roster spot problem, I think. So, well, we might consolidate some trades. I'll sign this guy, but that's about it. So player options, City will accept, Juan Nunez will accept, and we'll go with that. Qualifying offers, probably won't bring any of these guys back. And then free agency, we do have marketing. Like I said, we will absolutely resign him. Now, Trey Jones. So, yeah, it is not going to give me the bird rights on Chris Paul, which is kind of crappy. So he's asking for $60 million. Hopefully, we can still bring him back. So it does give us the ability to do that because we have cap space. So I'm going to give him a 2-year deal to see if he would try to not retire, but I don't know if he would. So we're going to give him exactly kind of what he was making last year. And then, like I said, we'll offer marketing. He's getting some offers ready. But, yeah, clearly, once we, traded for him, we were going to bring him back. So marketing and Chris Paul are going to be back. And that might be all of our cap space used up, which I'm fine with because we do have a couple of contracts we can still trade. Think we're definitely still under the second apron. So yeah, there's probably no reason to even look at it, but I will anyway. So yeah, clearly under the second apron. So we have marketing, Vassell making a lot of money. Wemby doesn't have to be paid until in 2027, 2028. So clearly we can trade for someone right now and make the best of it. So I think we have to do that. So Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, point guard rotation currently. We could play Stephon Castle to 2 as well. Maybe if we go with that. Vassell, I guess we could slide him down 3. I don't know. Marketing Wemby is clearly our front court, which I am totally content with. We just need to figure out probably the small 4 position. Because Sohan, as much as people may like him in real life, he's kind of a crap. Well, I guess he didn't do too bad last year. I was about to say, sometimes he kind of sucks in 2K Sim. I don't know. Like, we could trade him. I guess it all depends on what we're getting in return. I'm going to take a look at all the options. But I think we have to take advantage of the fact that we don't have to pay Wemby until 2 years now. And Chris Paul, we're trying to get him a championship. So let's go make another trade. Let's bring in another good player. We have all this salary to try to throw in a trade, some expiring salary at that as well. Assets galore. Like, we should be able to do something. So I looked around the market. I didn't see anything too crazy that made sense for us. But I do have one guy I kind of want to target because we would just be so big and the spacing would be just so incredible that I want to try to make this happen. So the spacing around Chris Paul would be just absolutely amazing. Same thing with Stephon Castle. So the only way we can make this happen, though, like, let me paint the picture for you. I want to get Michael Porter Jr. 6'10", playing the small forward spot. We'd have Markkanen, Wemby, and Michael Porter all like 6'10" and above. Like, that's insane. The size there is magnificent. The spacing is insane. So the reason why Denver may do this is maybe they're in some financial troubles. Like, they just paid Jamal Murray, so maybe they have to send out Michael Porter. And the good thing for us is Michael Porter expires as soon as we have to pay Wemby. So, like, literally, it makes all the sense in the world for us to do this. Like I said, maybe Denver would want to get cheaper. They lost in the Western Conference Finals. They've lost a couple times now. Maybe they're tired of Michael Porter Jr. as well. So let's go ahead and try to make it happen. So I guess I got to go to a proposed trade to do this. All right. We're going to try to get Michael Porter Jr. He is expensive, like I said, but we have the money to afford to pay him right now. So we are going to offer Barnes salary. And then, unfortunately, this may upset some people, but we're going to give them Jeremy Sohan. I think Jeremy Sohan is an asset they would like. It's a rookie contract they can control. They want to pay Jeremy Sohan as much as they paid Michael Porter Jr. probably. So, yeah, we're going to send them Jeremy Sohan. We just drafted Damian Sarr, which is another guy they may, like on a rookie contract. Now, I may try to keep him out of the trade just because Michael Porter, in theory, doesn't have that much trade value. He probably isn't going to be, like, that expensive to get. Maybe in 2K he will be, but we'll see. So, we can throw Juan Nunez's salary in here as well. And maybe we throw them, maybe we just give them Sohan and Juan Nunez and call it a day. And they don't agree. Okay, so they don't agree to that. Let me throw this second round pick I just got. A couple of seconds. They still don't agree. Okay. Got to make it a little bit better of an offer. They still don't agree. All right. Fair enough. So, like I said, I'm trying to make it cheaper on them. So, Juan, Sohan. That definitely saves a little bit of money, especially going forward. Maybe I have to throw Damian Sarr in for them to accept it. I don't know. They don't agree still. A second. Another second. All right. You drive a hard bargain, but I know we'll be good in 2027. 2028, Boston pick or whatever. So, man, I did not expect it to be this tough to get Mr. Michael Porter Jr., but right now it very much is. Maybe we send him Malachi Branham because Sarr is going to be someone that's for us next year. Quite a bit for Michael Porter, but I don't know. I really want him on the team, and they finally agree. So we finally get Michael Porter Jr. Very Malachi Branham hurts a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but Damian Sarr is a controlled contract. And I guess he'll be our new guy. Yeah, that kind of sucked to send out that much. But we do have money still in free agency, I believe. So we can sign a shooting guard for like a 1-year deal. That way Damian Sarr can develop in the G League or whatever. So we should be golden there. All right. So we got plenty of spacing. So we got Malik Beasley. We can sign like Terrence Mann, Hardaway, Caruso, THT. We got... if Caruso wasn't going to regress, he'd be perfect to bring in for a year or two. I only want a minimum as well. Give me Terrence Mann, who might stay decent. So I'll give him a 1-year deal to come to San Antonio as our backup shooting guard. So yeah, I like what we've done. I think this offseason couldn't have gone better. So yeah, maybe we didn't send out as much as I would have wanted for Michael Porter. But in theory, this team should be amazing. Like, the spacing should be incredible. The size is incredible. I love it. So let's go ahead, get into next season. Porter, Markkanen, Victor Wembanyama spacing the floor with that much size. Chris Paul and Stephon Castle, Vassell. Vassell's another good shooter as well. Like I said, man, they're just a magnitude of three-point shooters on the floor. And that would be crazy to defend. That would be crazy. So I have to imagine this year will go extremely well. I have to think it will go well. But let's take a look. So, rotationally, Power King is a 6th overall. We're 4.5 balanced now. So taking a look at our starting 5. Like I said, it's just insane. That would be so tough to guard, bro. Chris Paul, Vassell, Michael Porter, Lauri Markkanen, Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, Terrence Mann, Zach Collins, and Charles Bassey. And I know you might be upset that Stephon Castle is not starting this video just yet, but trust me, when we do the new look Spurs rebuild, we probably won't bring back Chris Paul. We'll probably get Stephon Castle the keys after the first season, maybe even give it to him at the trade deadline, or just start him right away. I don't know. Maybe Chris Paul comes off the bench, which is definitely possible. But we're just trying to make Chris Paul the star of the show today, one last time. But I love the roster we just put together. Hopefully it ends up working out for us. Let's see how the season goes. So at the end of year number 2, Victor Wembanyama gets MVP. Nikola Topic, Rookie of the Year. Stephon Castle wins 6, man. Love to see that. 3-point shooting isn't good, but hey, everything else looks fine. Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player. Jarvis Walker, Most Improved, and Clutch Player goes to Trae Young. And Greg Popovich is your Coach of the Year at 60 and 22. So all of that is looking incredible. Love to see how year number 2 went. Wemby is your All-NBA first team, and obviously we're probably not going to have anybody else here. But he's, of course, going to make All-Defensive first team as well. And here's our All-Rookie team. I don't think we had any rookies playing for us, so we're not going to have anybody there. First seed in the Western Conference. Getting a championship for Chris Paul before he decides to hang it up would be absolutely incredible. Average 8 and 9 for that season. You got 18 for Michael Porter, 19 for Markkanen, 20 from Vassell. And the one thing I really wanted to look at was this 3-point shooting. So Vassell, 44% on 7 attempts. You have Lauri Markkanen, 7 attempts, 40% from 3. Michael Porter, 39%, 7 attempts. Chris Paul, 37% on 3. And then Wemby, 7 attempts, 36%. Like I said, how do you guard that starting 5, I have no idea. I have no idea how you would do it. No clue. But hopefully we'll see that transpire in the playoffs, and we end up going all the way to win this championship this year. That would be incredible. So, Sacramento, we beat them last year. Our team is only better, and we should beat them, right? We're down 3-2, but we evened it up. So we're going to a game 7 with them again. Let's, do we go 8-man rotation early on here? I guess we do. Let's play our 8 best players, get Charles out of the rotation. We don't even need him. Here we go. Game 7 in San Antonio to go to the second round. I'm actually going to be a little upset if we lose to Sacramento here, but I think we're starting to take it and run with it. So that's good. And we are going to win game 7. So we're on to the round 2 again. And now we draw up the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Casey Wallace is starting shooting guard now. Lou Dort, J-Dub, Chet, Nikola, Hardenstein, Jalen Williams, Isaiah Joe, and Usman Deng. So I will give the Thunder a little bit more respect here because clearly, as we know, they ain't easy to beat. In my file that I've been using, they've been a little bit more beatable. I don't know how they'll be in this share scenario. So let's see how it goes. We'll game by game here to respect them. So game 1 goes to us. Blow them out by 33. Hopefully just keep that up. 2-0. Win by 2 there. Ooh, if we go 3-0, we do. Now, if there's any team we could blow a 3-0 lead to, it is the OKC Thunder, and it might be coming. There we go. So there, it's starting already. So let's simcast game 6, because I'm not trying to blow a 3-0 lead. That's super embarrassing, especially with Wembanyama on our side, and we're going to a game 7, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we're going to a game 7. I really hate that for us, but here we go, man. Game 7 in San Antonio. We did not just go up 3-0 to just lose like that, did we? We're not blowing a 3-0 lead. Surely we're not. We're not blowing the 3-0 lead. We're going to the conference finals, please. And it's looking good. Okay. A little sweaty, but we got there. 47 from Wemby, 43 from from Markkanen. Beautiful. Just cinema. It's absolute cinema, man. You love to see it. And now we get Denver. So we took Michael Porter from them. Of course, we gave them Jeremy Sohan and Malachi Branham. But Branham, probably a good piece for them. Let's see what he's doing on the season for them. He's averaging 15 points per game, 38% shooting from 3. So yeah, sucks to have given him up, but I knew we were gonna have to pay him after this season. So I don't know. Like I can live with it, especially if we beat them here. So here we go. Michael Porter versus his former team. Game 1, 1-0. Let's see how he did in game 1. I want to see if he feels disrespected. So yeah, he got 29 points in game 1. Love to see that. Game 2, 2-0. Looking good again. Michael Porter 27. Keep doing your thing, MPJ. 3-0. We blow him out, and we're going to the finals. So Thunder almost beat us there, but we get past the Nuggets in 4, so I'm glad we beat them and got revenge from last year. And now I get the Sixers. So Wemby versus Embiid for a championship. We get Chris Paul a ring here? That would be a beautiful way to end this one. Now, we got to be able to do it, though. This team just won it last year. Paul George is a little bit more. I mean, I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Game 1, 1-0. Beat them by 13. Game 2, they evened it up. Game 3, 2-1 goes to them. Let's simcast game 4 because I don't like the idea of going down 3-1 to the 76ers in this. And we may not have a freaking choice. So, yeah, I think we're going to lose here, unfortunately. So, we're going to come back from the deadly 3-0 or 3-1 lead if we want any chance here. Will we be able to do it? I have no clue, but here goes nothing. So, can we stop Philadelphia from going back-to-back here? Got a close one. Maybe we could force a game 6. We're down 2. Can we do it? Can we force a game 6, please? I would love to see ourselves stay alive here, and it's not going to happen. We're going home in the finals. Okay. We get to the NBA Finals, and the Philadelphia 76ers end up beating us in 5. Okay. Does Chris Paul retire? Yeah, so there's nothing I can do about it now. I know I could bring him back, but unfortunately, I'll just let it be. So, Stephon Castle, the keys are yours now at that point guard spot. Again, since Stephon Castle, it doesn't look like he's very good at shooting threes, at least in that last season. We still have plenty of spacing around him to make it work, so I'm not even worried about that. But he will easily step up at that spot and take over with Chris Paul gone. So we just got to figure out. I mean, I don't really think I'll do too much. We still have Wemby. We were, a couple games away from winning the whole thing. That would have been amazing. Or one game, or I think we were down. I think we lost in 5, right? I don't know. 5 or 6, it doesn't matter. So, we have 5 seconds. I obviously do not care about that at this point. We're going contender mode, so all of them suck. So I'm not signing any of them. Player options, Champagne will accept, and we'll accept Dylan, just in case for depth. So Kenneth Lofton, got him back in the Jazz trade. Not worried about him. And Charles is a free agent, and so is Christian Coloco. So one thing I already went ahead and did is I extended Zach Collins, so he is back. Honestly, we got him on a minimum contract, so I'm fine with that there. I think what I primarily want to do this offseason is we need a backup point guard. I want to see what else we can do. So we actually have cap space, technically. Wow, that's kind of crazy. Did not expect that. So what I want to do is I want to move Zach Collins to power forward because Zach Collins has played power forward before. Someone one time got very mad at me for moving Zach Collins to power forward, but he's kind of a crappy rebounder in 2K. And, 31% from 3 is content enough. So, yeah, average 3 rebounds last year. And I want to get a better backup 5. I think having a backup center who can rebound is very important, as we know. And we have cap space to get a point guard and a center, it looks like. So I don't want to spend too much because we're going to have to clearly re-sign Wembanyama next year. So I wonder if we could get Gobert to be our backup 5. How much cap space do we have? So after this, we'd have $8 million, which should give us enough. So would Gobert be interested in backing up Victor Wembanyama for a year? I think he would be. I think there's a chance he'd be interested in that. So he has a deal to go back to Minnesota, which is fine. So maybe he just does that. We could get Gafford for cheaper as well if we wanted to just go that route. But screw it. We have the money. I don't want to give him, I don't want to commit to him because we're going to have to pay Wemby next year. But we have the money to use it. So I will give Gobert a contract, and we'll see if he decides to accept it or not. So he's not going to. So we'll move on to Gafford. So we'll get Gafford, who's incredible as a backup center in 2K. Make sure there's nobody else we can go for. Obviously, Drum is really good as well. But Gafford we'll go for. So we'll go for Daniel Gafford. We'll get him, and then we will get a backup point guard. So Dyson Daniels, maybe what? That's way too much money. Hood Schifino, Chris Dunn. I mean, Hood Schifino, in theory, would still develop at this point, and he averaged 14 last year for the Lakers, so we can get him for fairly cheap. So Gafford, unfortunately, Gobert is going to turn down our offer. It would have been great to get him, but we get Gafford and Hood Schifino, which feels good. And that will be it. So that's the two guys we grab as far as adding to this team. We lose Chris Paul. Stephon Castle's up to an 83, so he gets the keys to start. Damian Sarr also progresses up to a 77, so he'll be ready to play as well, which is why we moved Malachi Brennan, because we knew Sarr would be ready eventually. So, all right, we're going into next season once again, trying to go win a championship. Got extremely close last year. Hopefully this year is our year. So another coach of the year for Greg Popovich, but I don't think Wemby got depoy. It actually goes to Giannis Antetokounmpo, but, he also doesn't make All-NBA first team. He makes All-NBA second this time around, which is totally fine. Stephon Castle makes all-defensive first team, so love to see that, averaging 17 points per game, starting with 6 rebounds and 8 assists. So he stepped up big time, up to an 85 overall. So he might be the missing piece. Maybe Chris Paul being gone is going to open up a lot of things for us to go on a run here. Starting 5 did absolutely incredible. I mean, like I said, I still think this lineup would just be incredible to, very tough to guard. We're going to go aim rotation in the playoffs, and we're going to see if we can come out with the championship this year. So OKC, I noticed, didn't even make it this year, which is insane. They lose in the play-in, which is wild. We get Sacramento for a 3rd year in a row. They do have Paulo now and Mark Williams, but I don't think there'll be a problem. But if we lose in round 1 to Sacramento, I might end the video just because that is ridiculous. I get they have Paulo and Sabonis, but come on now, bro. I don't know what it is with Wemby and 2K. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like I could never win a championship with Wemby, which sounds crazy because Wemby is Wemby. How can I not do it? I don't know. But we're going to a Game 7. We've gotten to 2 Game 7s with Sacramento and 1 each time. So hopefully 3rd time still goes our way, and 3rd time's not a charm for them. So, man, I thought we were legitimately going to lose in round 1, and I'm glad we didn't because, man, I would have been upset. Now, they did almost come back at the end, but we get past Sacramento once again. We've faced them way too many times in this video. And now we get the Timberwolves. I tried to steal Gobert from them. Unfortunately, was unsuccessful in that. Dillingham is up to an 84 overall. 21 points for them. It would be hilarious if we were just able to sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves with no problem, and that's probably going to be the case. Yeah, up 3-1, and we beat them with no sweat. But for whatever reason, Sacramento has just really given us problems each time. And now we get New Orleans. So Indiana and Charlotte's on the other side. I mean, if there was ever a golden opportunity to go win this thing, Missy is not guarding Victor Wembanyama. I promise you that. So let's just get them out of the way, please. And okay, maybe I'm a little too confident here. We got an even series. Please win Game 5. Please win Game 5. I want to go back to the finals because I love what I see in the Eastern Conference, and we're not going to win Game 5, are we? No, we're not. We're going to lose. Okay, we're down 3-2. Well, backs against the wall again. We were just doing it in Sacramento, so hopefully we can come out here and win Game 6 to force a Game 7 back to San Antonio. Got a close one, and we are going to win it. Okay. Charlotte's awaiting us if we are to get past the Pelicans here. And we got ourselves a close one. They're going to have the lead right now. We take it. Run with it now. Run with it. Do not let them have it back. And, of course, we will. Okay. We got a close one. Hopefully, we can take it. Oh, gosh, bro. What is it with the Spurs? I can't do it with them. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, my goodness. We did not just steal at the end just to lose. Like, 2K just literally did that to me. Wow. All right. Well, we're losing 7 to the Pelicans. I mean, this would have been a golden opportunity to go win a championship. I think we're just absolutely killing this Hornets team, but we lose to New Orleans. Thunder weren't in our way either. Just absolutely devastating, bro. Just so annoying. But I will go one more year on this one, and we'll end with the results we get next year. So we'll see what happens there. So here in this final season, Wemby gets an MVP award, and I'm assuming he probably is defensive. Nope, goes to Giannis again, unfortunately. Now, Greg Popovich does get Coach of the Year at 64 and 18. Wemby, All-NBA First Team. And then we got Wemby, All-Defensive First Team, and Stephon Castle makes All-Defensive Second Team up to an 86 overall. So, if we see the Sacramento Kings again, I'm about to be pretty annoyed, but would not be surprised. But yeah, 29 from Wemby. 19 for Vassell, 19 for Markkanen, 16 for Stephon Castle, and 16 for Michael Porter. So at this point, it is time. And Sacramento, bro, why is it Sacramento? That's 4 years in a row we get the Sacramento Kings. So here we go, Sacramento. Can we just sweep them for once or something and not go to a Game 7? Finally, we just beat the crap out of them. And now we get the Pelicans. Okay, so New Orleans beat us last year. For whatever reason, I feel like we're just going to smoke them. I just don't understand this game, bro. Like, why did we lose to them last year, and now we just smoke them? And now we get Denver. Murray, Beal, so on, Gordon, Jokic. They actually have a pretty solid team. So I'm actually going to bet, okay, so they win game 1. Game 2, we even it up. Game 3, 2-1. Can we go up 3-1? Nope, we got an even series. So Simcast game 5 in San Antonio. I would love to see ourselves get back in the finals here to win this, or to end this video. And it's looking okay if we win this one and we win game 5. Okay. We got Washington in the finals if we are to win game 6 against Denver. And we are going to have a close one on our hands. So here we go. Can we beat them? And we are going to go to... No, we're going to beat them in 6. We're back in the finals. So Alex Sarr versus Wembanyama, Bub Carrington, Shaedon Sharpe, Bryce, Kyle Kuzma, Sarr, Belil, Nick Smith Jr., Ben Simmons, and Corey Kispert. A solid Washington team, but I didn't come this far for a 4th time to not get it here. So can we just... Nope, it's not going to be that easy. All right. Game 5 against the Wizards here in San Antonio. Would love to get Pop another ring as well before he's done. And we might lose game 5. Wow. So we're going to lose game 5 to the Washington Wizards here. We got to win 2 in a row. Let's make sure we got... So 8-man rotation already going. Game 6 in DC to force a Game 7 back to San Antonio. I would love a Game 7 just for the drama. So hopefully we can get that. And DC is going to say no. I can't get a championship with Wemby, I guess. I don't know, man. 105 to 128, we lose. I'm going to end it on that note, guys. Losing 6 to the Wizards. We lose the 6 in the finals and well, lose the Pelicans. Like, we're just going to get it done today, man. Thought we put together a fantastic team. For whatever reason, whenever I'm using the Spurs, I just can't get it done. I don't know why. Hope you guys enjoyed the video regardless. I'll see you on the next one. This is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.